To find your assignment today, you will look under Math. It's down at the bottom. And today it's a little different. I entitled it Graphing Activity, Thursday, 2:15 p.m. And just while I'm on Google Classroom, a reminder that tomorrow we do have school. It's asynchronous learning, which means you will not have any live Zoom lessons, but you will have assignments that are due. You will have your third Friday choice board to work on, and in order to be counted as present for school, you have to fill out that Google form on the Friday choice board. It will be under your assignments for this week, December 14th through the 18th, in your Google Classroom, just like it was last Friday. So some of you have been asking me that, and I want to make sure everyone understood. We do have school tomorrow, and then you get your winter break. So yay. So today is our graphing activity, and you're going to want to know where this is because there's a link you're going to need, but I'll talk about that here in a moment. First, let's go ahead and go over our learning target. So we are going to actually create our own graph so we can share information with our peers and our teachers. This is so we can solve real world math problems that involve graphs. If you actually do it, you are going to feel really confident about graphing when you create your own. You'll be able to think of a question. You will be able to collect data using tally marks or numbers. You'll decide on a type of graph. We've looked at bar graphs and pictographs, so we'll choose one of those, or maybe a line plot if you want. Even though we haven't talked a whole lot about those, I know we have this year. And you'll display your data that you collected. Then you will be sharing your data with the class by doing a Flipgrid activity. Okay, so that was where that other link was. Okay, so before we get started on that, I wanted to do a quick review. I'm only going to pick a couple of these again because of time. So let's do 6 times 8. Haley Booker, thank you for raising your hand. What would 6 times 8 equal? Make sure you're writing these in your math spiral.
Okay, so how I would do 6 times 8 is I would start with 5 times 8, and that equals 40. And then I add one more 8, and that equals 48.
All right, and Haley, while I have you, what is the chant for 6 times 8? Do you remember it?
6 and 8 went on a date. They didn't come back till they were 48. 6 times 8 is 48.
Nice. All right, let's look at 16 divided by 4. How about, let's see. Sawyer, are you able to tell us how we would do that problem? How many 4s are in 16? How can I figure this out?
4.
Excellent. How do you know, bud?
Because you can't play 4s.
Can you do that for me out loud?
4, 8, 12, 16.
Excellent. I'm proud of you. All right. Let's go ahead and have Sunny Poe walk me through this next one. 982 plus 109.
So what you do is 2 plus 9 is 11. So you'd put a 1 there. You would carry the 1, and then 9 plus 0 would be 9. And then 9 plus 1 is 10. So would that be 1091?
All right, Astria, do you think you can do this one? 800 minus 668?
So what you do is you box, since you can't do 0 minus 8, you box the 80 and then you make it 79. And then you make your 0 10. And 10 minus 8 would be,
I think you muted by accident.
it would be 2. And then 9 minus 6 would be 3. And then 7 minus 6 would be 1.
And how would you read that?
132.
Excellent. Let's look at this clock here. What time is it? I'm going to pull out of my handy dandy can. Henrik Thompson, what time is it? August Weber. Oh, is Henrik here?
He is. He's trying to talk. He's unmuted, but we can't hear him.
It's 9:12.
Okay, let's look at that shorthand first, August. What is the hour hand or the shorthand between which two numbers? August Weber.
They're in between 12 and 1.
So that tells me it's in the 12 o'clock hour because the shorthand is the hour hand. That's what you want to look at first. So now if I want to find out how many minutes have passed 12, August, I need to count by 5s until I get to where that minute hand is. Can you do that with me, bud?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Ready?
Yeah.
5,
10, 15, 20,
20. I'm sorry, my pen's not going that way. I'll see if it'll go this
25,
way.
30, 35, 40, 45.
45. So what time is it?
It's 12:45.
All right. And August, if it is 12:45 and I am sound asleep, drooling on my pillow, is that AM or PM?
That's AM. No,
Oh.
that's PM.
You were right, AM, because at midnight, when it's dark and the clock strikes midnight, it is AM. So 12:45 is just 45 minutes after midnight if it's AM. At noon, 12 o'clock noon, it'll turn to PM. How many minutes to the next hour, Max Giesberg? How many more minutes until the next hour?
15.
So 15 minutes till what would the next hour be?
1.
Very good. All right, which unit, here we are, would be better to estimate the amount of liquid in a swimming pool? An ounce, a pint, a gallon, a cup, or a quart? Let's pick on, let's see who I got here. How about Madison? What would be the better unit and why?
I think it would be a gallon because a swimming pool is really big.
Yeah, that's going to need a large unit for a large amount of water. All right, so nice job with the review. Let's move on. So this is a quick video to show you how we will actually create our own bar graphs. And this is mainly bar graphs. If you choose to do a pictograph, a lot of these skills will still apply. So watch and build your schema.
for joining me today, guys. We are going to learn about bar graphs. If you look right here, you can see that we have some fruit. I wanted to know what types of fruit my friends like. So I went out and asked my friends what fruit they like the most. Here you can see that I have tally marks to show how many of my friends liked which fruit most. You might know already, but a tally mark is a useful way to represent data. Each time a friend told me they liked a certain fruit, I would put a tally mark under that fruit to keep track of how many people liked that fruit. Now we will put all this information that I have gathered into a bar graph. A bar graph is another way to represent data. It is a lot like a picture graph, but without the pictures or symbols. Here's our graph, but the first thing we need to do with any graph is what? We need a title. Since the information we collected was on favorite fruits, let's call it favorite fruit. With this graph, I want to put the names of the fruit on the bottom and the numbers on the left side going up. We can see here on the bottom, we have the names of the fruits. We should label what these are. This is obviously going to be labeled fruit since they're fruit. On the side, we need to measure how many people like these different types of fruit. We only need to go up to 6 since our information or tally marks only go up to 6. So the numbers going from 1 to 6 represent the amount of people. We can now fill out the graph according to our data. First in our data are the apples. We can see from the tally marks that 2 of my friends liked apples. So here on the graph, we will have this bar at the bottom go up 2 spots to show that 2 people liked apples. Okay, next we have oranges. How many people liked oranges? Good job. 3 people liked oranges. So we move the bar up to where the 3 is. Now how many people liked pears?
1.
We had just 1 that liked pears. So the bar goes up just 1. The last one is bananas. There were 6 people that liked bananas. So the bar goes all the way up to 6. We now have an amazing bar graph that shows all of our data that I collected about what is the favorite fruit to eat. With this graph, it is easier to read and interpret the information. For example, I can see that only 1 person liked pears. Now that's interesting. Can you tell me what fruit was the most popular?
Banana.
Tell from the graph that bananas were the most popular. Can you guys tell me how many more people liked bananas than oranges? Looking at the graph, we see that 6 people liked bananas, 3 people liked oranges. From 3 oranges, we count 1, 2, 3 spots. There are 3 more people that liked bananas instead of oranges. We can learn lots of cool information from this graph. Practice doing your own bar graphs and compare the information you collect. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Please share the video.
So it's always does this. Let's see. All right. So in order to do this, okay, here's what we want. I chose my Christmas tree to think of some data I could collect. Now, you guys don't have to do a Christmas tree, but this is my example. So I took a picture of my Christmas tree. It's not really quite that distorted looking. It's kind of wide there. And I decided to look at ornaments. So my question, because remember we heard you have to think of a question. Normally I would survey people, but since there's COVID and a pandemic, I really can't do that. So I decided just to think of a question that I could investigate on my own, which is what you guys will do as well. You'll think of a question that you can answer by looking around your house at something, and we'll brainstorm here in a minute. So when I looked at my Christmas tree, I noticed there were a lot of the ball ornaments. I had just green, gold, and red. And so what I did is I counted all of the green ball ornaments, all of the red, and all of the gold. So my question was, how many Christmas balls are on my tree of each color? I collected data by making a tally chart, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. My tally chart showed that I had red balls that there were 9 of, green balls there were 8, and gold balls there were 7. In order to make my graph, I had to think of a title. Since my question was about Christmas ornaments and the types of Christmas balls, I decided to title it Types of Christmas Balls. And then I have to decide what my intervals will be based on my data, like the numbers. Well, because I knew I had a range here, you know, the lowest amount I could have had was 1 or 0, I guess, but it went all the way up to 9. So I wanted it to go more to an even number. So I thought I would probably count by 2. So let me show you this process. I have another tally chart below that I'm going to use in a minute, but just focus on the top chart. So when you are collecting your data, this is the one I want you to look at right now. I had types of balls. I chose red, green, and gold because that's what I had. When I counted them, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I just put a tally mark for every one I had. I like tally marks because when you do tally marks, you count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a group of 5. The reason tally marks are preferred is because it's easy to count because you can count by 5s. Somebody needs to mute. If you could
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
Muted, that would be great. So when I go back to look at my tally chart, I can quickly read 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I see I have 9. Green, I have 5, 6, 7, 8. See, this is a group of 5. 5, 6, 7. So that's why tally marks are a good way to collect data. And then I can represent that data. So what I did is I got a piece of paper, which you guys will be doing here shortly, and I thought of my title, Ball Ornaments. Now this one was a pictograph. Since we've done pictographs, I'm gonna let you choose. Elena, can I have whole body listening? And Elena, can you actually unmute and say yes so I know we fixed that problem? Let's see if it works.
Yes.
And that's your Chromebook, right? Awesome. So we don't have to switch it out. Okay, perfect. Thanks, sweetie. So a pictograph is okay to use. I went ahead and made horizontal lines. I made the red, the green, the gold choices. And then for my key, I decided to use a circle because the circle looks like the ball ornament. So that's my symbol. And then I can't read because of what this says here. Each circle stands for 2 ornaments. And look what I had to do for the number 9. Oopsie, we'll look at that one next. For the number 9, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I have half of one. Why do I have half of one, Ben, on the reds?
Because like you have to add one more after 8 because like 2, 4, 6.
Because
So half of 2 is 1.
Yeah, I have 9 red ornaments, so I need to make sure I don't do a whole one because then it would say 10. If each one of these represents 2, let's count and make sure I did it right for green. 2, 4,
2,
6.
4, 6, 8.
So I have 8 because there's no half. And then for the gold, I have 2, 4, 6 plus 1 would equal 7. And that's what my tally mark showed. So make sure if you do a pictograph that you have a key to tell what your symbols represent. Okay, so you can choose to do a pictograph if you like. And these are all on the slide, which are on your Google assignment that you can refer to. The next one is a bar graph. Now this one happens to be a vertical bar graph. You can do a horizontal bar graph. It is up to you. The hardest thing about this was thinking of my intervals. What am I going to use for my numbers? Since my numbers were small, the greatest number I had for my ornaments was 9. So it was real easy. I just went ahead and counted by ones. At first I thought I was going to do 2s, and then I realized I don't need to do 2s. I can do 1s because it's such a low number. So on the left, I put the number of each color here, and that's where my numbers went. Then down here is the types of ball ornaments. So you have your red, green, and gold, and then of course you need to have your title right here. Make sure you have a title, okay? And then I thought it was kind of fun to color it in. The next one is the line plot. We have looked at line plots. We're going to look more at line plots next year, and I just mean in January when we come back. But this was pretty simple. It doesn't have a title at the top, but below it says the number of each type of ball ornament. And then I have red, green, and gold. It would have looked a little better if I used color on that now that I look at it. And how would I, and Elena, since you can unmute, let's take advantage of that. How can I know from this line plot how many ornaments or ball ornaments are red? How would I figure that out from this line plot?
We got the food bags, we got the chicken.
You would count how many balls there are?
Yeah, you're just going to count the dots. So let's count them. 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. And then let's count the green and see if I did that right. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
and let's count the gold.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. So that's how you use a line plot. We are just, each one represents 1. So 1 dot is the same as 1 vote or 1 number. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example of how you get started. I also showed you, and then we're going to do some brainstorming. But if we go back, I told you I had another tally chart. Let's look at this one real quick. Types of ornaments. When I went to my Christmas tree, and I also saw all of these ornaments, I thought to myself, there's a lot of different types of ornaments on there. Josh, do you see any other types of ornaments besides Christmas balls?
Candy cane.
Candy canes are on there. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, what else, Gabe? What else do you see besides just candy canes? What other kinds of ornaments do you see?
I see trees that are green that go across.
Sure. You could say that as well. So here's what I did. And right now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my document camera because I want you to actually see how you might get started. So we're going to use this information now instead, where it says types of ornaments. I could have gone with so many different categories, and I guess that's the one thing you want to think about, your kinds, your types, your categories. I have balls, I have wooden ornaments, I have photo ornaments, I have handmade ornaments, and I have glass ornaments. Now that you saw a simple graph, this one's going to be a little more challenging, but I have the tally marks done already. Madison, help me count by 5s on my tally marks to see how many are ball ornaments. Can you do that?
5, 10, 15, 20.
Now count by 1s, 20.
1, 22, 23, 24.
Okay, good. So there's 24 ball ornaments, right? You see that? So that's how we count our tally marks. Haley Calendar, help me with the wooden ornaments. Let's count by fives. Ready? You're muted. Your microphone's not working. Can you try again?
I can hear her tiny bit.
Okay. Max Steesberg, how about you? Can you count the wooden ones for me?
5, 10.
Okay, so this was all my data that I collected. Max, I'm going to have you finish it out with me, okay, because I can hear you so well. What about the photo ornaments?
5, 10, 11, 12.
Excellent. And the handmade?
5, 10, 15.
And the glass?
5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, so here's all my data. I have 24 of the ball ornaments. I have 10 wooden, 12 photo, 15 handmade, and 8 glass. Now let's say I want to make a graph. Here are some of the things you're going to need. I would suggest either a piece of construction paper or a piece of computer paper, typing paper. I would also suggest you use pencil to start and a straight edge or a ruler. Now, I think because I would like to do a horizontal bar graph. So I'm going to make my paper go horizontally. The first thing you will do, and don't do this now because you don't even have a question, you're just watching and learning, is you would draw a line going down. It's like making a big L. And then a line going across, because one spot is going to have your numbers and one is going to have your information. Okay, so I'm going to draw my big L or my axis, my X and Y axis. And then I'm going to think about my numbers, my title. I know that I'm still doing types of ornaments. So my title is still going to be types of ornaments, because now I have all kinds. And I think I want to underline it because it's a title. And you will probably want to start with pencil so you can erase if you make mistakes. Now, because it is a bar graph and it's going horizontally, the types, if my bars are going across, then my types are going to go across. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types. So I have to draw, I'm going to have like 5 lines here. So I'm going, let's start at the bottom. I'm going to put 1 here, 1 line, 2, and I'm going to try to space them out pretty good. 3, 4, and 5. Whoops, I didn't do such a great job of spacing them out. I think I might erase that, make it go up a little. That's why I want you to use pencil. I think maybe this one needs to go up a little. All right, so this is where I will put the actual types. And I have to write on the side for my readers to know what these are. These are the types here, types, or kinds, I could say. Now that I have the lines, I can write them in. I said balls are one type, wooden. I said photo, handmade, and then I said glass. Those are all the kinds that I saw on my tree. Now, what do you think is going to go on the bottom? Henry, what's going to go on the bottom of my graph? If this is the types, what am I going to write on the bottom of my graph? You're muted, honey. All right, Max Fox, what goes on the bottom? I'm gonna have to show my data. So what do I need on the bottom? My what?
Engine.
Okay, let's go back and look at this one. What do we have on the side here?
Archer. Captain Cookie. Cloud. The numbers.
Yeah, the numbers. So along the bottom, we're gonna write the number of each type. Number of each type. Now, we have to figure out what we're going to count by. What are our intervals going to be? Let's look at our numbers. We go from 8 is my fewest number to my minimum. My maximum number is 24. So what do you think I should count by if I have to get 24?
Okay, Betty, you're not reading your book during class. You were paying attention to your teacher.
What could I count by? We've done, think about things that are easy to count by. Lucas, what's easy to count by?
2s and 5s.
Okay, so 2s and 5s. We could do 2s, probably. I'd have to be able to have a lot of room, but I think I could. And 5s would work. The only problem with 5s is they don't divide easily. So if I don't have an exact number that's a multiple of it, I think it'll be a little harder. Let's try 2s. Okay, so this would be 0, where my X and Y axis meet here, 0. Then I'm gonna say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. I don't have to go any higher than that because my highest number is 24. Now I've got to write it in. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. Now you guys can try, you can use a ruler if you want. Try to make them about the same distance, which is, you kind of eyeballed it. You could actually measure it out if you have time. So now, what do you think my next step is, Serne? What do I do next? Remember, I'm making a bar graph. It's not vertical, it's horizontal. What would I do next?
You would put the color up to the number that there is.
Okay, so if I go back to my data, my ball ornaments, there's 24. And because this doesn't have to have a specific color, I'm just gonna pick different colors to make my bar go across. I would recommend a ruler for this one for sure. So I'm gonna try to line it up, make my line go all the way across till it gets to where
24.
24, yeah, because that is where it ends, right? So you can make your bar as thick or thin as you want. You want to make sure that your reader can read it, right? So they can analyze the data and tell me how many more of certain ornaments I have. And then if maybe I wanted to get some more ornaments, I'd know what kind to get. And then I would color that in. The colored pencils work real nice for this. So if you have colored pencils, which most of you do, I would strongly recommend those for your graph. Okay, so then I get to pick another color. And I'd look at wooden, and I have 10 for wooden. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna draw my line, and then I have to look down here at the bottom to 10. And look what I'm gonna do. I'm going to line it up to where it says 10. Whoopsie, and then I need to erase. My line went too long there. The nice thing about colored pencil is that it erases. now my bar will go here, and I will color in for my wooden. And then I have the photo, go back to my data. It says 12. I'm gonna line it up with 12. Here we go, boop, boop. And then I'm gonna color that one in. And then I have my handmade has 15. Boy, I've been lucky so far. And now I'm not so lucky because 15, there is no 15. I have a 14 and a 16. What am I gonna do? I can't line it up exactly, Henrik. What can I do? 14 and here's 16. I need 15. Henrik, can you unmute and tell me your thinking? I think your headphones are plugged in, bud.
Yep.
So now you're muted. I don't know. Now you just have to click unmute, Henrik, and I think we'll be able to hear you fine.
Bottom left-hand corner. Yep, there you go. The other side there.
Haley Calendar, what do I do if it's between 14 and 16? You're muted, Haley.
I'll let her know.
Yeah, you're not working for some reason. Is your volume down or your mic? Something's
I
weird.
hear her. I hear her though.
Well, I can't. How about Ben? Let's
Turn
try
your
you.
volume way up and then you'll hear her. You need to break the one in half like you did to the other time.
Yay! Thank you, Ben. So that space between the 14 and 16, I would just go halfway. Why can that work for 15? Can you explain why that works?
I haven't been asked this question ever.
Okay, well, these are counting by twos. What's half of 2? Or what plus what equals 2?
Oh, it's half of 2, 1.
Yeah, there you go. And I needed 1, right? So I had to go halfway between 14 and 15 because half of that would be 1. You knew it. You just didn't know how to put it in words yet. But you did it. And last but not least, we have our glass ornaments. And that would be 8. And I got lucky again with that one because counting by twos, 8 is a multiple of 2. So I can just line that up and make my bar graph go right from here to here. And now I can see, what do you guys think? If I said, okay, I want my ornaments to be kind of balanced. I want them to have more, I don't want so many ball ornaments. Which type of ornament do I need to buy more of? Now that we have this information, Finn, which ornament type could I buy more of? Because I don't have as much as my ball ornaments for sure. Finn, can you hear me, bud?
Wooden?
Yeah, I could. What has the fewest number? Which type of ornament has the fewest number? Or small?
Grass.
The glass. I really should buy some more glass ornaments, right? Do I need to buy any more ball ornaments? Elena, your pencil should be down, honey, because I need whole body listening. You're not doing anything but listening right now. Elena, I don't even know what my question was. Let's think. What was my question? Do I need to buy any more ball ornaments, or do you think I have enough?
I think you have enough.
What from the graph tells you that? Which has the greatest number? Which type of ornament has the greatest number, Elena?
The blue one.
But what is the blue one? What type is it?
Balls.
The balls, right? So now I can use this data to help me with my Christmas tree. I probably need to buy some more glass ornaments, maybe some more wooden ornaments if I want to balance things out a little. Definitely do not buy any more ball ornaments. So now what I would like you to do is think about what could you ask yourself. I asked myself, how many Christmas balls are on my tree of each color? That was the first one. And then I went into, well, how many types of ornaments do I have? And then I created many graphs. You're not going to create this many graphs. Those were just examples. Then I showed you how to do it. So let's brainstorm some ideas for questions you can ask for your data collection and then for your graph. Anybody think of something they could count that has different types in your house, and it doesn't have to be related to Christmas? Madison, what are you thinking?
Candy canes.
So do you have a lot of different kinds of candy canes?
Yeah, I have like blue color.
Wow. Okay, so you would do them by color maybe. So if you have multiple kinds of something, that would be a great idea. So she's saying different types of candy canes. What else could we count in our house that we have different types of? Anybody else have another idea of something they want to do their graph on? Raise your hand if you would be willing to share. Max, Fox.
Books.
Types of books. Excellent. Lennox, what are you thinking?
I am thinking different types of toys.
Different types of what? I'm sorry.
Toys.
Oh, yeah. Toys. I love it. Okay. Anybody else? Mrs. Harrison, do you see anybody else? Oh, I see Haley, but I can't hear you, Haley. You could put it in chat for Mrs.
Yeah,
Harrison.
put it in chat for me and I could take that. Oh, I can hear her now.
I can hear her barely.
Yeah, try again, Haley. I can hear you. Yell it one more time.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Sunny, what about you, my dear?
Different color lights on a Christmas tree.
Ooh, good idea. Lights. What about you, Reese?
So I have bags here with candy canes, and so I have a couple different bags here. Some of them have candy canes on them, and some of them have red and green stripes.
Oh, so types of bags? That's cool. Did anyone at home, do any of you have stuffed animals that are like a certain kind?
Stuffed
Maybe
animals.
Different types of stuffed animals that you.
And Haley said flowers. That's what hers was, flowers.
Flowers. All right, so here's what you'll have to do. You'll have to think of your question, and then you'll have to collect your data. You're going to need a ruler, paper, crayons, or colored pencils, and a pencil. You will create your graph once you've collected your data. You got to figure out how many of each kind you have. I used a tally chart. You could use that as well, or you could just write the number if you'd rather. Be sure to label your horizontal axis and vertical axis like I did with the numbers and then the type, and you'd have to have a title. Your title might be types of candy canes, types of books, types of toys, types of, or types of colored lights, types of bags, types of stuffed animals, types of flowers, types of Legos, whatever it is that you once you create your graph, you only have to do one. I did many. If you want to do more than one, knock yourself out. I am fine with that. You are going to then create a video on Flipgrid to share your graph with all of us so we can see it. Okay, so that will look like this. That is the end of my slideshow, but in Google Classroom, here's the slideshow. If you want to go back to it, you can look at all the examples that I gave you. Here you will also see I have a Flipgrid link. All you have to do, guys, is click on that link, and then when you sign in with your, oh, mine's already on here, with your name, it will come to this. It'll just have you'll sign in with Google like you guys have been doing. I have an example. It's called Graph Activity. Actually, I don't think you even have to, oh, I'm signed in as Surnay for some reason. You will read the directions. It says, after creating your graph, record a video showing and explaining it to us. See the example video for guidance. Here's your video.
Hi everyone, I'm going to show you an example of the video that I'd like you to make after you create your graph. So I told you that I looked at my Christmas tree and thought of the ornaments, especially the ball ornaments in the different colors. So I gathered data and did a tally chart. Here's the top one. I have the types of balls, red, green, and gold. The tally marks for the number of each type of ball. Then I use this data for information to make the graph. Now I made quite a few just to give you guys examples of different ones. Here's my line plot graph. At the bottom I put number of each type of ball ornament. And then I have the colors, gold, green, and red. And then a dot for every number of balls in that color. So if we count them, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for gold. And then I have an example of a pictograph. So with my pictograph, I made sure I had a title, all ornaments. I made 3 horizontal lines, 1 for red, 1 for green, 1 for gold. On my key, it says each circle stands for 2 ornaments. So for red, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, and half of an ornament, which would equal 1, so half of 2 is 1. And 8 plus 1 would make 9. For green, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. And for gold, I have 2, 4, 6, and then another half, which would equal 1. So half of 2 is 1, would be 6 plus 1 is 7. So that is my pictograph. And last but not least, I did a bar graph. My bar graph also has the title, which is ball ornament. And then at the bottom, it says the types of balls. And on the side, it says number of each color. So I wrote at the bottom with the different types, the colors, the red, the green, and the gold. I numbered up to 10 because my range was from 0 up to the highest number I had was 9. So I decided to count by 1 on my scale here. So you'll see the red, my bar goes all the way up to 9. So I get 9, that takes the ornament. On the green bar, it goes up to 8, so that's my 8. Green ball ornament on my tree, and the gold bar goes up to 7 because I have 7 gold ball ornaments on my tree. So these are just different ways to display the data that I collected from my tally chart. I hope you got some good information from them, and then now we could analyze how many more red ball ornaments that I have on my tree than gold, how many ball ornaments we have all together. I could also ask questions like how many fewer green ball ornaments do I have than red. So this is a way to display data, and then therefore I could analyze that data. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to hear your video and see your graph.
Okay, so you can watch that again, or if you think you get it, you don't need to. What you will do is click on the record a response. You guys have become real experts at this and share what you created, and then the rest of us can view them and learn a little bit about you and a little bit more about math and graphing. Okay, so I'm anxious to see these. I would love to answer any questions you have about this assignment. So if you have a question, raise your hand. Any questions? Yes, Serene.
What assignments am I missing?
I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean on Think
I keep getting
Central?
emails that she's missing assignments and I can't figure it out.
Do you mean on Think Central? Did she get an email? Did you get an email?
I keep getting all sorts of emails. Like, she's not turning this in, she's not turning that in, she's not turning this in. I'm like, okay, I can't figure it out. You got to talk to your teacher because I don't know where to look.
Oh, Mrs. Harrison, did you send an email about anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I only sent one, and that was for Think Central. So I haven't sent any others about missing assignments. So I don't think any others would be coming from us or anywhere else. So
Okay,
I'm
it might be math
guessing.
or not math, art and
Oh, must be from our, okay, so that's not from us. But I do know I sent something for Think Central. So Serene, we can get on your Think Central and it'll tell you exactly what's on your things to do list, okay? So I'll do that with you in just a second. Let's see if anyone has questions about this assignment. Does anyone have any questions about this assignment?